The wedding night should have been quiet. Instead, it felt like standing in a room where something invisible was breathing right behind my neck. Aiko sat at the edge of the bed, her white dress pooling like spilled milk around her feet. The lights were dim. The city outside glowed softly through the curtains, but inside felt too still. Too perfect. You're not smiling, Ren, she said softly. Her voice was sweet, gentle, the kind that wrapped around you like warmth in winter. But her eyes didn't match. They never did. I am, I replied, forcing the corners of my lips upward. Just tired. Liar. She tilted her head slightly, watching me the way a cat watches something that might run. I can hear your heartbeat from here, she whispered. It's faster when you're scared. My throat tightened. I laughed, but it came out hollow. I'm not scared. Why would I be? Aiko stood slowly. Her bare feet made no sound against the wooden floor as she walked toward me. Because, she said, reaching up and gently fixing my tie, though the ceremony was already over, you still think about her. Everything inside me froze. Who? Her fingers paused. Then, she smiled. Your ex, she said simply. Mira. The room seemed to shrink. I hadn't said her name in months. Hadn't even dared to think it out loud. How do you? I know everything about you, Aiko interrupted softly. Your favorite food, your childhood dog, the way you cry when you're alone. Her fingers moved from my tie to my collar, then tightened. Just slightly, enough to remind me she could. You promised you'd forget her, she murmured. Didn't you? I did, I said quickly. I have. Her eyes searched mine. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then, she smiled again, that same perfect, terrifying smile. Good, she said, because I don't share. A chill ran down my spine. That was the first moment I understood. I hadn't married a woman. I had married something that loved me so much, it might destroy me for it. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. Aiko lay beside me, her breathing soft and steady. One arm rested across my chest, her fingers curled slightly as if even in sleep she refused to let go. I stared at the ceiling. My mind replayed everything. The way she always knew where I was. How she showed up at places I never told her about. How she smiled whenever another woman looked at me. And how those women never showed up again. I had ignored it. Because she loved me. Because it felt good to be wanted. Because after Mira left me, I needed someone to choose me like that. But now it felt wrong. My chest tightened. Carefully, slowly, I lifted Aiko's arm and slid out of bed. Her fingers twitched. I froze, but she didn't wake. I stepped back, grabbing my jacket silently. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello. A pause. Then a voice I hadn't heard in years. Ren. My heart stopped. Mira. Silence. Then a soft, shaky breath. I didn't know who else to call. Everything inside me cracked open. Are you okay? I asked immediately. No, she whispered. I'm not. Aiko shifted in the bed behind me. I turned, heart racing. She was still asleep. I'm nearby, Mira continued. I came back to the city. I didn't know you got married until today. Guilt hit me like a punch. I wouldn't have called, she said quickly. But I have nowhere to go. And I have something I need to tell you. Something in her voice made my chest tighten. What is it? Another pause. Then, I have a child, Ren. The world tilted. What? And he's yours. Everything went silent. Behind me, Aiko's breathing stopped. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Where are you? I asked quietly. Rain had started falling by the time I reached the old bus station. The same place where Mira and I had said goodbye years ago. Some things never changed. She stood under a flickering light, holding a small boy's hand. For a moment, I couldn't move. She looked thinner, tired, but still, Mira, still the girl I once thought I'd marry. Ren, she said softly. The boy peeked from behind her. Big eyes, familiar eyes. My breath caught. Is that? He's 5, she said. His name is Kai. The boy stepped forward slowly. He looked up at me. Are you my dad? The question hit harder than anything. My throat closed. I knelt in front of him. He looked just like me. Same eyes, same hair, same uncertainty. Yeah, I whispered. I think I am. He smiled. A small, hopeful smile. And something inside me broke completely. Mira and I sat on a bench while Kai played nearby. You should have told me, I said quietly. I wanted to, she replied. But when I left, you were already moving on. I looked away. That fast? She smiled sadly. You always did hate being alone. That was true. I didn't want to ruin your life, she continued. But things got bad. I lost my job, my apartment. I had no one else. I clenched my fists. You should have come to me. I am now, she said softly. We sat in silence. Then, I got married today, I said. Her expression didn't change. I know. I didn't know about Kai. I know. Guilt twisted in my chest. I can't just. I'm not asking you to leave her, Mira interrupted. I just need help. I nodded slowly. I'll help. Thank you. For a moment, it felt like the past again. Like nothing had changed. But then, a voice cut through the rain. So this is where you ran off to. My blood went cold. I turned slowly. Aiko stood a few steps away, holding an umbrella. Her white wedding dress was soaked at the edges. But her smile was still perfect. Ren, Aiko said softly, walking closer. You didn't tell me you were going out. My heart pounded. Aiko. I can explain. Her gaze shifted to Mira. Then to Kai. Then back to me. You lied, she said. It wasn't loud, but it felt like a blade. I didn't. You promised, she whispered. The rain grew heavier. Kai ran back to Mira, clinging to her leg. Who is she? He asked quietly. No one answered. Aiko tilted her head. And this is your son? My chest tightened. Yes, she smiled. Oh, she said. That's wonderful. Something about the way she said it made my stomach drop. Really? She continued. A family. She stepped closer. Too close. I always wanted one. Mira grabbed Kai's hand tightly. We should go, she whispered. But Aiko's eyes snapped to her. Don't move. The air froze. Ren, Aiko said calmly, you didn't tell me you had unfinished business. I didn't know, I said quickly. I just found out tonight. Her gaze softened slightly, then hardened again. And what do you plan to do about it? I looked at Kai, at Mira, then back at Aiko. I'm going to take responsibility. Silence. Then, Aiko laughed. Soft, sweet, terrifying. Of course you are, she said. That's why I love you. Relief flickered in my chest. Maybe this would be okay. Then she stepped closer, and took my hand. But don't worry, she added. I'll take care of them too. My blood ran cold. Aiko insisted they come home. I should have said no, but something about her tone made it impossible. Now, Mira sat stiffly on the couch while Kai slept beside her. Aiko moved around the kitchen, humming softly. Like nothing was wrong. Like this wasn't insane. She's intense, Mira whispered. You have no idea, I replied. Aiko appeared with tea. Here, she said sweetly. You must be tired. Mira hesitated, then took it. Thank you. Aiko sat across from us. Watching. Always watching. So, she said lightly. Tell me everything. Mira glanced at me. I nodded. She began explaining. The pregnancy. The struggle. The years alone. Aiko listened quietly, smiling, but her fingers tightened around her cup. Crack. A small fracture spread through the porcelain. She didn't react. I see, she said softly when Mira finished. Silence followed. Then, Aiko stood. Well, she said cheerfully, that settles it. What does? I asked cautiously. They'll stay here, she said. Mira blinked. What? We're a family now, Aiko replied. It's only natural. My stomach twisted. Aiko, we should talk. We are talking, she said, still smiling. Her eyes met mine. Sharp, unyielding. You won't abandon them, she added. Right, I swallowed. No. Good, she said. Then she turned to Mira. And you won't take him away from Ren. Mira hesitated. I won't. Aiko's smile widened. Perfect. But something about the way she said it made it sound like a contract, not a kindness.
The first week felt like walking on a knife's edge. Aiko was perfect, too perfect. She cooked, cleaned, played with Kai, even laughed with Mira. Anyone else would think it was peaceful. But I saw it. The way her eyes lingered. The way her smile tightened whenever I spoke to Mira too long. The way Kai flinched once when she touched his head. Something was wrong. Then one night, I woke up to a sound. Soft, metallic. I followed it to the basement. The door was slightly open. Inside, Aiko stood over a table, a knife in her hand. Photos spread out beneath it. Photos of Mira, of Kai, of me, connected with red lines. My breath caught. Aiko. She turned slowly, smiling. Oh, she said, you weren't supposed to see this yet. Fear flooded my chest. What is this? She tilted her head. Planning, she replied. For what? She stepped closer. For our perfect life. The knife gleamed in her hand. And sometimes, she whispered, perfect things require sacrifices. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I had made a decision. We had to leave. I told Mira everything. Her face went pale. We're not safe here, I said. Kai clung to her. We'll go, she whispered. Anywhere. We packed quickly, quietly, but as we reached the door, Aiko stood there, smiling. I knew you'd try to run. My heart dropped. Aiko. She locked the door behind her. You belong with me, she said softly. Her gaze shifted to Mira. And she doesn't. The tension snapped. The confrontation was chaos. Shouting, crying, fear. Aiko's love twisted into something violent. You promised, she screamed. You said I was enough. You are, I shouted. But this is my child. I don't care. Silence. Even she seemed shocked. Then she laughed. Broken. See, she whispered. That's the problem. Her grip on reality slipped. Tears streamed down her face. I just wanted you, she said. Only you. My chest ached. I know, I said softly. And I tried, she continued. I tried to share. Her eyes darkened. But I can't. She stepped forward, then stopped. Kai stood in front of me. Small, terrified, but brave. Don't hurt my dad, he said. Everything froze. Aiko stared at him. Something changed. Cracked. Then, the knife fell from her hand. The house was quiet again. But this time, it felt real. Aiko was gone. She left without a word. Only a note. I love you too much to destroy you. Weeks passed. Slowly, we rebuilt something fragile. Mira stayed. Kai laughed more. And me, I learned what family really meant. One evening, we sat together watching the sunset. Kai between us. His small hands holding ours. Is this forever? He asked. I looked at Mira. She smiled. Then I looked at him. Yeah, I said softly. This is forever. But deep inside, I knew. Somewhere out there, Aiko was still watching. Still loving. Still waiting. And love like that never really ends.